But magic like that never stays a secret for long. As the castle settles, new eyes turn toward the flute, and mischief is on its way. Welcome to Chapter 2. The marshal, now completely enthralled by the music, lets out a startled as he leaps into the air. Peewit keeps playing, seemingly upset. Peewit, visibly upset, confronts the marshal, questioning his antics during the performance. The marshal, flustered, attempts to respond but can't find his breath after unvolunteered dancing. Feeling offended, Peewit scolds the marshal for his behavior, expressing disappointment that someone of his age can't appreciate beautiful music. Declaring his farewell, he storms off, leaving the marshal speechless. As Peewit walks away, another character notices his anger and inquires about the problem. Peewit vents his frustration, lamenting how some people fail to recognize true beauty. Peewit happily shows off his whistle to a curious onlooker, inviting them to listen to the delightful music it produces. The onlooker seems puzzled but intrigued by Peewit's enthusiasm. As Peewit plays his whistle, the onlooker is startled by the unexpected noise and his body starts moving by itself until he accidentally spills water from a bucket. Peewit watches with a mix of surprise and amusement. The onlooker, still holding the bucket, looks confused and asks Peewit about the situation. Peewit questions if the unexpected commotion is part of a game. Peewit walks along, puzzled by his inability to concentrate, suspecting that a flute might be the cause, yet dismissing the idea. He continues on, still holding the flute thoughtfully behind him. As Peewit rounds a corner, he nearly bumps into Lady Barbara and quickly apologizes. She responds with a polite greeting. Watching Lady Barbara walk away, Peewit ponders whether she would ever do something as lively as dancing. He smirks mischievously, contemplating the possibility of using the flute. Peewit mischievously plays the flute, causing Lady Barbara to involuntarily dance with a look of surprise and confusion. Realizing the power of the instrument, Peewit excitedly recognizes it as a magic flute. He is astonished and thrilled by this discovery, contemplating the possibilities it holds. Peewit eagerly explains to Lady Barbara that the flute's magic makes people dance uncontrollably. He encourages her to watch closely as he demonstrates the flute's enchanting power. Peewit plays the magical flute, causing Lady Barbara to dance uncontrollably and shout for him to stop. Her surprise and inability to control her movements are evident as Peewit continues to play with mischievous delight. As Lady Barbara angrily calls Peewit a rascal and threatens to report him to the king, Peewit laughs and feels amused by the flute's power. His playful attitude suggests he is eager to find more entertainment with the magical instrument. Peewit encounters a burly man who is caught off guard and starts dancing as the flute's melody takes effect. Peewit plays his flute, causing a group of people to start dancing involuntarily. The magical melody continues to spread its influence, leaving everyone around bewildered. Amidst the chaos, Peewit jumps on the steps, laughing heartily and expressing his joy at the situation. Peewit suddenly notices approaching soldiers as he peeks around the corner. Peewit plays a tune on his flute, causing the soldiers to trip and tumble in confusion. They look bewildered as their hats fly off, and they try to regain their balance. Amused by the chaos he has caused, Peewit laughs heartily and clutches his flute, eager to repeat his mischievous trick. His laughter echoes as he finds the situation hilariously entertaining. Continuing with his playful antics, Peewit encounters an old man while still playing his flute. The old man ignoring the flute melody. Peewit stops blowing his flute, try to figure out why his flute isn't affecting the old man. Peewit is blowing his flute again, trying to make the old man to dance, but the old man is still ignoring his flute melody. Suddenly, Peewit stops playing and calls out to the old man, trying to get his attention. The old man turns his head slightly, questioning what Peewit wants. Peewit excitedly plays his flute while the old man listens with a perplexed expression, trying to understand Peewit's enthusiasm. The old man raises his eyebrows in confusion as Peewit continues to play energetically. Peewit stops playing and looks frustrated, exclaiming that the flute doesn't work anymore despite it going so well. The old man just standing while watches Peewit. Then the old man says he is unable to hear Peewit's complaints clearly, asks him to speak up as he is a bit deaf. Peewit looks exasperated. Peewit, determined to make himself heard, climbs onto a stool to get closer to the old man's ear. Standing on the stool, Peewit waves his finger to ask the old man to come closer. The old man leans in, trying to catch Peewit's words more clearly. With a burst of enthusiasm, Peewit blows his flute loudly into the man's ear, causing the old man to leap back in surprise. Peewit skips away joyfully, holding a flute, as the old man is left bewildered and confused by the sudden burst of music. Meanwhile, Lady Barbara describes to the king with exasperation how Peewit's flute made her dance uncontrollably. Johan expresses skepticism, suggesting the event might have been a dream, while the lady insists she's not crazy. The king listens thoughtfully, considering the strange tale of Peewit's musical mischief. Peewit bursts into the room, holding a flute and exclaiming its delightful flute. He's eager to share his discovery with Johan and the king, his enthusiasm infectious. The lady, alarmed by Peewit's appearance, shrieks and decides to flee. She points at Peewit while making her hasty exit. While the king talks to himself on the woman's agility, Johan questions Peewit what is all about, and Peewit tries to prove the flute's magical abilities, claiming it can make everyone dance. As the music from the flute begins to play, Peewit joyfully greets everyone, and Johan and the king find themselves dancing uncontrollably. The king looks surprised, yet amused, while Johan tries to keep his balance. Peewit laughs heartily and asks if they are convinced now, while Johan and the king appear bewildered by the flute's effect. The king holds on to Johan for support, both clearly astonished by the magical tune. Later that evening, in a small village inn, a man stumbles out with a hiccup, illustrating the lively atmosphere far from the castle. The night continues on, filled with the echoes of distant laughter and merriment. Inside the inn, a jovial merchant displays musical instruments, offering a variety of choices to the patrons and highlighting their affordability. Innkeeper seems intrigued by the selection. The merchant enthusiastically presents a lute, claiming its value is worth every penny, but the innkeeper seems hesitant, expressing a preference for something simpler like a flute. The merchant beams with excitement upon hearing the innkeeper's request and assures him that he has the perfect flute, claiming it to be a real wonder and affordable. The merchant frantically searches through his belongings, realizing with panic that he has misplaced the flute. The merchant, trying to salvage the situation, explains to the innkeeper that the flute was a precious piece with just one flaw. Not far at another sit, one bearded man with red clothes seems interested with the story. Continuing his salesmanship, the merchant points out a small drum, suggesting it's a nice item available for purchase. Meanwhile, the innkeeper gets distracted by a patron demanding a drink. A curious man approaches the merchant and inquires about a 6-holed flute, and the merchant responds hesitantly, admitting he lost it. The lively inn continues to buzz around them as they converse. The interested man presses for details on where the flute might have been lost, and the merchant recalls it possibly being left at the king's palace. Amidst the bustling inn, the merchant tells the red-clothes man that he found the flute in a witch's hut that the villagers had set on fire. The merchant recounts discovering a green smoke amidst the ashes and finding a flute unscathed by the fire, which he finds peculiar. The man with red clothes listens intently. Merchant offers a variety of inexpensive instruments, but the red-clothes man declines politely, wishing him a good evening. The man in red instructs the innkeeper to prepare his horse for an early departure to the king's palace. With mugs of frothy ale in hand, the innkeeper nods in agreement, ready to assist with the morning task. The next day, arrows thud into a target, archery practice is underway. Johan, holding a bow, proudly observes that 2 out of 3 arrows have hit the target from 50 paces. With confidence, Johan prepares to shoot another arrow, assuring that this shot will be perfect. Just as Johan releases the arrow, he is thrown off balance because of music melody, exclaiming in surprise as the arrow flies unpredictably. Johan approaches Peewit, who is laughing heartily by a tree, scolding him for distracting him with his flute. Suddenly loud crack while Johan stands with his bow, looking around cautiously as Peewit peeks. An angry man with a patched outfit strides through the bushes, clearly upset as an arrow sticks out from his trousers. Confronting Johan, the man complains about being sprayed, while Peewit giggles at the situation. Johan looks surprised as he tries to reason with the man. The man, now even more agitated, threatens Johan with a thrashing, accusing him of being a lousy shooter. Peewit stands nearby are getting angry listening to man. While the man, holding Johan by the arm, Peewit warns the man to be more polite or face consequences. As the man threatens to crush Peewit, Peewit remains unfazed and instructs Johan to cover his ears, ready to blow his flute. Peewit plays his flute, causing the man body to react without control. The man confusion and surprise as musical notes fill the air. The man keep dancing without any control. His body keeps jumping and turning. The man flips upside down, still in shock, while Johan watches while covering his ears. Desperate, the man shouts for everything to stop as he struggles to regain control of his body. Peewit watches in surprise as the large man stumbles, struggling to keep his balance while pleading for everything to stop. Suddenly, the man loses his footing completely, toppling over with a dramatic fall as Johan looks on in shock. Peewit stands nearby, bewildered, as the man hits the ground with a loud thud. Johan kneels beside the fallen man, relieved to find that he's still breathing, while Peewit points out the sweat pouring off him. Johan and Peewit discuss the man's exhaustion, with Johan suggesting Peewit let him dance too long, while Peewit insists he only played a few bars. Peewit seems puzzled, as the man should normally withstand hours of dancing. Johan mentions the magic flute's power, and Peewit excitedly wonders if playing a little longer would cause people to faint. This idea seems to intrigue Peewit, who is fascinated by the flute's potential. Suddenly, a cheerful voice calls out to them with a hearty greeting of, "Hello, youngsters." Johan and Peewit turn their attention towards the source of the voice, curious about the new arrival. As Johan and Peewit gaze ahead, a rider on a horse approaches, asking if they are far from the king's castle. Johan points towards the hill, assuring the rider that the castle tower is just beyond it. The rider expresses gratitude for the directions before continuing on his way. The rider pauses, noticing a man lying on the ground, and inquires with concern whether the man is dead. Johan reassures the rider with a smile, explaining that he is just experiencing a bit of dizziness and it's nothing serious. Satisfied with Johan's explanation, the rider waves farewell and continues on his journey, leaving the group behind. As the rider departs, Johan and Peewit observe the man on the ground who remains still, wondering if he will still be upset when he wakes up. Johan bends over the large man, suggesting they help him, while Peewit, standing nearby, jokingly suggests preparing for a counterattack just in case. And that's the end of this chapter, but the story is far from over. New adventures await in the next one, and things are only getting more exciting. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. A new chapter releases every day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.